Ready. Set.
Go!
Anything can happen.
You came to the wrong place.
The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
But you don't have to ever quit. You ain't gonna take it no more, since it's almost over now. Almost over now.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved. But that's different this week because this is a hall pass. Me and Jamie decided a few months back that so many sequels in the world, and we want to cover a lot of them. And sometimes we don't have the pull in Hollywood just yet that we can be like, hey, Tom Cruise, can you do this? And he says, no, like usual. But it's so cool that we decided upon this, and I was able to surprise Jamie. If you haven't seen it, go on our Twitter or Instagram, or I'll share it a bunch because it's pretty funny that I sprung my hall pass and I used it on this week's sequel, The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, which I might say this is the Friday the 13th Part 5 of the Fast and the Furious franchise, and I'll explain in a second. But first, I got to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
Well, I was doing good until we decided to do these hall passes that I was excited about, not knowing that you would pick the one franchise that I absolutely hate. And I've discussed this before. I've only walked out on a movie or shut a movie off, I think twice. This movie, I watched the first Fast and the Furious, shut it off twice. Finally did see it, and that was the only one I saw. So wow. I can't stand these, and for you to make me watch this, I hated the movie, hated it. And I know some people that think this is the best one, and if this is the best one, I can't imagine how bad the other ones are.
Well, I don't know who thinks that. I can tell you, this is the last one that I saw out of all of them. Like, I saw first one, I saw the second one, and I remember seeing this movie and watching it again. I hate when people drive down my street over 25 miles. I use cruise control like 2 over the speed limit wherever. I don't know, the going fast, or in this one drifting, it's not like my forte at all. But I can say I do appreciate, again, a franchise trying something different, and it's so crazy. Like my analogy I just mentioned, it is true.
Hold on a second. Wait, they tried something different. They're still racing. They raced in the first movie, and they're racing in the second movie.
Different racing.
It's still racing. It's still ridiculous racing. And the fact is, okay, so it's called drifting because we clearly know it's drifting. He's never heard the word drifting before because he didn't know what that was.
He's from Alabama. They don't know much down there. The education is not good.
Which, by the way, his accent is so ridiculous. It's so southern.
It changes a lot.
It does, but his mom and dad don't have an accent. So why is his accent so thick? That sometimes you can't even understand him.
Yeah. But do you mean his mom, Peggy Bundy?
Okay. All right. So first of all, the way they portray women in this movie is awful. Awful.
Oh, terrible.
Like it really is. Like and I mean, from the student, first of all, he plays a 17-year-old. He looks like he's 30.
Wait, all the people in this movie look really old.
But yeah, I wasn't sure if the whole gang in Japan goes to school. I didn't understand because I always thought they were at a prison in Japan because I mean we're not because you meet Twinkie. First of all, that's his name, right? Twinkie?
That's the one I just mentioned before we started that I just saw his name. I just wrote Bow Wow. I'm like, okay. Bow Wow.
But his name is Twinkie. And he automatically went right to the new guy and started saying, hey, I can get you whatever you need. Like, I'm the guy that gets... That's like a prison thing. It's like when you get to prison, the one guy always goes up to the new people and say, hey, whatever you need, let me know.
Yeah.
That was him. And he played that role of getting whatever you need.
Well, also, maybe he was like, hey, here's this white guy in a country where he probably doesn't speak the language for the most part, and he learns it pretty quick.
Okay. He does not know the language.
At all.
He sat in that class. The woman, the teacher, first of all, the fact that they're sending him to a school, and I know we're jumping all over the place, but the fact that they sent him to a school that he doesn't understand a word of Japanese. He looks lost. The teacher is like 500 words a minute like talking to him. He has no clue. Yet
I know.
And yet, I don't know the time frame, but towards the end, he had a full conversation with the Godfather of Japan in Japanese.
Oh, and it's Southern Japanese.
And it's Southern Japanese.
Drawl with it.
And so where did he learn that? He he all of a sudden learned Japanese. Okay, all right, we were jumping way ahead, but I just had to throw that there.
But to go back to my point, so don't forget it. So, and I think this is a true thing. I know you don't like these movies, which is fine.
No.
I don't really enjoy. Honestly, this is the last one that I saw out of all of them, and I'm not saying I wouldn't enjoy the other ones. It's just that there's other movies I'd rather watch. But I totally agree with that sentiment that this is the Friday Five of it, because after this one, they changed. They jumped the shark. Everyone after this is insane. It's not a racing movie anymore. They're all about like bank heist or stealing the Mona Lisa. They're all crazy stuff. When in the first movie, they're basically being followed by Paul Walker, who was a detective in the first movie, because they had like TV, VCR, DVD combos. They were stealing them. And then what do they do in the next one? Probably going to the moon. Oh no, I'm sorry. They're flying a car. Jason Momoa has 2 helicopters, snatch on magnets to Vin Diesel's car, and he flies in the air.
I can't. I cringe when I see these trailers. I'm like, I really can't. Vin Diesel, his acting is basically the way he acts is the way he portrays Groot.
Oh, I know, dude.
And that's his acting. Like, I think he's probably a better actor just saying one line, I am Groot, than acting in general, So, like, the fact that he's the main guy in 10 movies is just ridiculous, So, and like, I don't know. I really, like, I cringe when I watch. The only one I did see, I'm sorry, I did see the first one, and then I saw the spinoff of Jason Statham in The Rock.
Yeah.
And I actually enjoyed that because it was like a Tango and Cash kind of movie. Right. Because it wasn't real. It wasn't Vin Diesel, and it was their own thing that I watched. And meanwhile, from what I heard from everybody else, anyone that likes the franchise doesn't like that one.
Oh, really?
Maybe
they're not allowed to because they're Team Vin. Maybe that's what it is. But no, the first one, I haven't seen the first one, obviously, since I saw it in the movie theater. I remember actually liking the movie because there was like a story. There was actually like some kind of substance with it. But yeah.
Doug, I threw it off twice. I threw it off twice and then tried to watch it with my son, and I finally finished it. But I can't. So, all right. Let's get this stupid movie going.
Let's get into Tokyo Drift. So we Sean Boswell is the main character, and he was just in Fast 9. So the timeline of this movie is kind of crazy because I don't know when Han died in the newer movies, because he's dead. Spoiler alert, he dies in this movie, but he's alive in the other movies.
Okay. And I was curious to see because I mean, obviously this seemed like a spinoff because there was no one from the main movies in there. So I looked up, like, see if this guy was in the other movies, and I saw that he was. And then I saw Han, and I'm like, now Han died, and there's no way he survived that crash. I mean, he wasn't even moving when whatever his face went over there, and to look at him, he was still in there. And then the biggest explosion ever.
I know.
So if he somehow escaped, nobody saw him. Like, it's so ridiculous that he's alive.
No, definitely. But yeah, so we get Sean Boswell. He must be going to school. It must be L.A. I don't know if we saw anything, but it's like East L.A. You saw all the security guard cameras. He's getting checked for guns at the door.
Outside. No, it wasn't a door. It was outside before you even get into the school.
Oh, well, those are those fancy L.A. movie high schools. Everything's outside.
It is?
Yeah,
is that how
campus.
It really is?
Yeah, they're always like that in movies. It's always the huge campuses.
Yeah, I just didn't know that the metal detectors would be right at the gate before you even step on the campus.
So I gotta tell you, this opening scene might be the craziest scene in sequel history because of not only what they do, is what some of the characters' like mindsets are and how they flip on a dime. Like,
okay, there is something that happens in this movie that I can't believe they were doing. They were with a piñata.
What do you mean with a piñata?
They were hitting a piñata that was an Indian.
Oh, I don't remember.
It was a hanging Indian. Like a a regular Indian, and they were hitting it as a pinata.
Oh my god, like a Native American or
A Native American, yes.
Oh my god, in the beginning?
In the beginning.
Oh my god, I missed that. Jesus.
Yes. I was saying, like, I was like, what? Like,
Was that their rival? Because did you notice the patch on his Letterman jacket? It was like a shark. It was a duck on. Oh man, it was like a professional team's logo, but they put like a duck head on it. But anyway, we get super hot blonde, who kind of looks like Sarah Michelle Gellar, sort of, and she does like a Sharon Stone-ish because you see her underwear.
yeah, she does. You do. I mean, which is not Sharon Stone, because Sharon Stone did the old commando thing.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
That's
she did.
so but I mean, so this girl, yes, super good looking, but she blatantly kind of sold herself.
Oh, yes.
Like-
Wait, no. Yes, the whole when she says that line. So let's set it up for people that didn't want to watch this movie. So you get the oldest brother. What was his name on Home Improvement?
Oh, Home Improvement, yeah, the blonde kid.
But anyway,
Well, he was the older brother, but he was younger than the actual.
He was
on the
younger than
show.
JTT. Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I forget his name of the show. His real name's like Brian or something. But anyway, he got screwed after acting. Like when he got older, because he was only a dick. Like he was a dick in Carrie 2. He played the same role, asshole. I think he had like a pretty cool death in that movie. I forgot what it was. But anyway, he plays the same thing. Huge douche. He's trashing the guy's car, which is clearly a classic car. Like they could have made it look like crap, but it still looked good. And he was like, "What do I do with that piece of crap?" And it's like, that looks pretty good. Like I would take that.
All right. Okay. I need to say this now before we go any further. The
Sure.
amount of cars that get destroyed in this movie, and no one seems to care.
Oh,
They're literally like it's almost like they have disposable cars.
yeah.
Because seriously, like every car in this movie, every car gets destroyed, and like no one gets mad. No one's mad.
Well, Han is the one.
Well,
Well, we know what he was sort of doing, skimming money for the top, but I don't think he was skimming that much.
no.
That he could just be like, "Yeah, you told my car."
And
Whatever.
it was Han. Is Han in high school also?
No, we didn't. I didn't see him in.
Okay,
high
that's what I
school
mean.
at all.
So only the Southern guy was in high school.
Oh, and some of the other
And the girl-
cronies
and the
were
girl- okay.
the blonde crony,
Yeah,
bad guy,
yeah,
because
yeah.
he was beating up Twinkie on the roof over a broken iPod that he sold.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, all right. So yeah, so what is this? Is this a real thing that people, instead of getting in fights like fist fights, they take it on the road?
Did
That's-
this ever happen? Like,
No,
like even
it
like
happened.
In,
I think it happened in the
Footloose.
'60s. It happened in the
Yeah.
'60s.
Well, Grease.
Grease,
There's
right.
there's a scene at the end of this movie. I'm like, are we gonna get a Grease lightning montage when they're fixing up the car at the end of the movie?
Oh my!
I was like,
gosh.
holy shit, are we gonna get them in a studio
Yeah.
shooting a Grease Lightning music video? No, I don't know what they did. Like even like the chicken in Footloose. Like, did
Yeah.
anyone ever, listeners, if you've ever done anything like that at Sequels Only, because on Twitter, because to be honest, I don't know anyone that ever raced on a road. Like I couldn't imagine that as an adult, like, or even in high school, if my buddy was like, I'm gonna race that guy right now, I'd be like, let me out right now.
Never. And well, I think part of the reason why I don't think it really happens is because in real life, there's cars everywhere. In this
Yeah.
world, there's never a car around. Like when in the beginning of the movie, when they do that race and they go into the town that is, I guess they're building all these houses, which there's absolutely not one worker working there. Like it's a complete ghost town of construction on all these
Yeah.
brand new houses. Not one person is there. Not one car on the road. Not one person. And
Everybody's off.
hold on. This is and it's a school day because clearly
Yeah.
they met at the. So you're telling me during the week clearly each house is like being built. Not one person. And this is like a theme throughout the whole movie. Every time they're racing or go, there's never anyone around, and it's always the longest roads ever. Like
Yeah.
this is a neighborhood. They're building houses in this town, in this neighborhood. How long is that road that they just keep going. It's like a highway.
Yeah. No, it was obviously over a mile for as long as the
easily
scene was.
a mile.
Like, and
Easily.
they're zipping through, flying through houses. Like you want. So now we can talk about like what the stakes were, because he goes, "I only race for pink slips," which I don't know if he ever raced for pink slips. To say that comment, you should have multiple cars. If you say I only race for pink slips, you must have cars, or you lost a car, because it seems like he probably never did that before for him to say that phrase. But when douchebag Brad, I think that's his real name.
He looks like a
or his name
Brad.
from the show.
He looks like a Brad.
Yeah, I think he's Brad. But when he goes, what was that? What am I gonna do with that piece of crap? This thing's worth 60 grand. And he go, oh yeah. And when he goes through all the stats on it, he's like, oh, that's great. You read the manual. And I'm like, oh my God.
All right. So he says it's worth 60 million, but he has no problem hitting him, the other guy, with his car.
Oh, dude, 60 grand. My dad would
60 grand.
You'd be murdered. But then we'll get to that part. Why what starts that is even crazier than what she says.
And before you get there, one more thing I need to say. So this guy Brian, or Brad, what's his name? The main guy, Brian.
I think his name's Brad. Oh, the main guy's Sean.
Sean's
the main guy. Oh, Clay was Zachary Ty Bryan. That's the actor, Clay.
Okay. All right. So Sean, he clearly is into racing, and he's always in trouble with racing, and he is not a good driver. Until he does his training, his Rocky training later on, he literally loses and crashes all the time. Like, he's not a good driver. So why is he into this like driving thing? He's not. He doesn't know how to drive well. And the fact that, again, he doesn't know drifting, because if anyone that's played Mario Kart knows that there's drifting involved. And Mario Kart was, because he knew Donkey Kong, because he mentioned Donkey Kong, so he should know Mario Kart.
Yeah, he should know. But no, now to get to the line, I just looked up that girl because I'm like, she looks so popular. Her name's Nikki Griffin, and her main credit, she was in Dukes of Hazzard, the movie. Oh, she was on OC for a while. She was just on the OC podcast, so she probably knows our buddy, the director of a bunch of the OC episodes. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But no, so the craziest line ever is the fact that she goes, well, whoever wins gets me. And you're like, okay, this is crazy, because obviously Clay walked up and saw them making eyes at each other. And then he's like, okay, sure. And she's like, what, you're going to win, right? And I'm like, what the hell's happening? So they start the race, okay? And what are we going to, that's what I was thinking at the end of the movie. Like, usually, like, when there's fight scenes, we can talk about things, but we're not going to be like, hey, Jamie, remember that turn they made? It's like watching NASCAR. Like, how do you recap that? Like, one person did more circles before the other person.
And before you go into this race, I forgot to say this. So this is when I knew, and I already went into this movie, I'm going to hate it, but this is when I knew I'm going to really hate it. The first line of the movie, because the whole beginning is kind of a montage of, spray painting the fat kid. Like, I mean, I don't know what kind of school this was.
Oh, my God, dude. Yeah. They took him out. The worst was the setup of that. We saw him getting drugged into the hallway. Yeah. And they cut to Sean doing something. They cut back, and they're spray painting.
They're spray painting the kid. I mean, there was a scene where a teacher's, like, basically sleeping at a desk while they're dragging another kid out of the room, and he's, like, trying to. So they're, so anyway, the first line, I think, was when someone said to his car, "Nice ride." And he goes, "It does the job." That was the first two lines in the movie. And I'm like, if this is the dialogue and this is what we're starting, I go, I'm going to hate this movie. So I just wanted to say that. Nice ride. It does the job. Okay.
But I did like, because this makes you think of what era of movies we're watching right now, the time frame. And I think, honestly, it is a bad choice based on the year now, thinking of it, because this came out in 2006. Bob with the Ba came out in 98, 99. Still a great song for a movie. But the reason I know in 98, 99 is that was in the trailer for Star Wars Episode 1. That was the trailer of Darth Maul doing the fighting. Yeah, they used that one of the trailers. Obviously it was not in the movie.
No, I know, but
John Williams music, but
wait, that was really in the trailer?
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
That was in the trailer for
There's a trailer with it. Yeah, because I remember seeing that.
I have to
with
look
that.
it up. I can't.
Yeah, I gotta
believe
find it for you. But yeah, it's like a
All right.
badass thing with like Darth Maul.
That's funny.
But anyway, you hear that song, you're like, oh, this is cool. But anyway,
Yeah.
they're going through the race. Sean's getting his ass kicked. He does a shortcut. He goes to, and she looks at Clay, and she says, because he looks kind of scared, even though at this point he's still on the path to get out, because that was whoever gets out first. But he was like parallel to him, and he was on the right road. Sean was on the wrong road, so you wouldn't even think that. But then when Sean cuts over, she goes, "I guess I'm gonna have to find someone else to go to prom with." And his right? Is that what he said?
No, doesn't she say, "I thought you loved me"?
Oh yeah, you're right. No, you're right. That's what she said. Okay,
That's what she said. Yeah, she goes.
Okay.
And she looked at him, and he looked defeated, and that's when he started like ramming into him and everything else. But she goes, "I thought you loved me," and like, yeah, I mean, so she's got. First of all, think about the damage and money that they're doing. These houses and the construction and all that, like they have to now start from scratch on all they destroyed so many houses, just going off road and everything else. And the fact that his car was able to still drive, going through these bumps, hills, driving through like concrete, wood. I'm like, and it's still going. He's still going fast. Like it's ridiculous.
But no, the fact that she like you said, she says that to him, and then he starts ramming, and then she tells him to stop. So she goes from, "Hey, don't you love me?" Then she probably didn't realize that he's gonna ram, and then she's like, "Stop! Let me out right now! Let me out right now!" And then obviously, I thought they were gonna die. I don't know why. Obviously, Sean would go to jail, but when they spun out at the speed they were going, hitting a cement, like those big cement cylinders, I'm like, they're dead. And then he rolls over like 20 times. He's fine.
Okay. Did you notice what was floating in the air when he flipped over?
Oh, was it product placement?
It was a bottle of Tabasco sauce, hot sauce. In slow motion, you literally see like it clearly comes into focus. It's a bottle of hot sauce. Which, not sure why you have hot sauce in the backseat of your car, and it literally, you could see it clear as day coming right to the front. Like, it's like they purposely showed that I guess Southern people, use hot sauce all the time.
Oh, yeah. Justin Lin, the director, was like, hey, Tabasco? Yeah, who's this? Justin Lin. I'm directing the new Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift movie. Do you want to be in it? Yeah, how are you going to do it? It's going to be a cool product placement. Car's gonna flip over. You're just gonna fly randomly into the screen. We're in.
Unbelievable.
They were like, you know what? They're using an old lady for Frank's red hot sauce. She puts her shit on everything. We're gonna put our shit in a Tokyo Drift movie. You saw it. I didn't even notice it. I was probably like,
I can't. I'm telling you, I can't believe you didn't notice it because I'm telling you, it's like purposely slow motion because the whole thing was slow motion when he's flipping, and you see the hot sauce go right across the screen, right in front, and go, yeah. So
the one thing I do say is, I think a strong part of this movie, again, if it was a different type of movie, and I know he's been in a ton of stuff.
When you say different type, you mean like a good movie?
Yeah, or like more of an action movie, because I'm not like racing isn't like my like cup of tea. It's not like Cannonball Run. It's like my kind of rat race or it's an MMA world. I'll take that. But Lucas Black, he's been in a ton of stuff like over the years, and I think he definitely has something because it did make me laugh. And I think I sent you the gift the other day when he's in the waiting room and that girl who wanted him so bad, right? She wanted him so bad. But then in that room, she was disgusted by him, even though she's the one who made her boyfriend ram into him, right? So that was the start of this like carnage.
Well, she was disgusted because he smiled and he had like blood all in his teeth.
I know, but I love that. That was so awesome.
I mean, first of all, the fact that they both walked out of there like normal, like nothing, so. Yeah, but did she really want him? I feel like she does this like it's not the first time she's done this. Like
every new kid she causes to race at the abandoned place.
Well, knowing that he's going to get off easy because he's got money, and the new person doesn't have money, and that's because she basically insulted him and basically called him poor the entire time before they raced.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay.
Damn it. But then, but he's not getting off easy, right? His mom shows up, Peggy Bundy-ish. I did like when they were in the waiting room, the guy, when they're in like the interrogation room, and the guy's like trashing him, calling him basically, you know what they do to people like you? People like him, he's gonna go home. It's gonna be fine. People like you. And then I love his only response like, "Can I get my car?" It's like,
He goes, "Where's my car?"
he goes, "Well, we crushed it." He goes, "You did what?" And he's trying to fight the cop over a car that he won't be able to afford to fix because he's a high school kid. Seems like his mom dates a new guy every month just by like her looks.
I got news too. I think his dad and mom date someone new each time.
Oh well, the dad has a prostitute.
Clearly. I mean, and the mom and the mom acts like one because she's hitting on the officer who I'm surprised like didn't even budge. Like he didn't even like
how. What about the irony of her going, "Can I smoke in here?" And then right behind it says "No smoking" on the wall. That was amazing. Yeah, sure, Harvard, sure, Red.
And this is like clear like around the time when we find that he's 17 years old.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. He's got a receding hairline and he looks like he's 30. He's not 17.
What do you think he was when this movie came out?
He's got to be in his mid-20s. I would think mid-20s. There's no way he's like I could see like the girl look younger in Japan. Like she looked younger. Like I feel like
she could. She's 24.
Okay,
that's not bad.
That's mid-20s. That's not bad.
You're right. No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that's not bad for playing an 18-year-old. Just think about all the movies we grew up loving.
18. He's still in high school, so that means he's 17 in this movie.
Okay,
that's almost 10 years.
Well, it's 7 years.
Okay, there's a big difference between a 24-year-old and a 17-year-old.
No, there is a big difference for acting wise. There's so many of those movies that
but some could pass. Like, listen, Michael J. Fox at the time, he could pass for high school.
Judd Nelson. Judd Nelson was a high school kid
in the 80s.
Emilio,
listen,
high school kid.
Paulie in Rocky was 35.
I know. I can't believe that. That's mind blowing.
That is mind blowing. So, Judd Nelson. Oh, listen, Anthony Michael Hall looked like a high school kid.
Oh no, he was a high school kid. His age. We watched it the other week. All of those people, I think most of them were around then.
Oh, 16 age. Candles. Him and what's his face? What's his name from Face Off? From Con Air. Cusack, John Cusack.
Oh yeah,
he was one of his dorky brothers.
He was probably pretty young too.
Yeah, he was. They all looked like high school. Yeah. All right. Well, this guy was not young.
He was not young, but so he the decision.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on. His mom looked the same age as him. Okay, there's no way. Okay, so his mom was there. The mom looked young, right? So you're gonna tell me she looks like they could be mother and son?
What,
no
you
way.
You think they're an item? You think they're pretending?
Well, he is from Alabama.
He is, but she has no. Where is she from?
Well,
the real
if he's from Alabama, I'm assuming one of his parents are. Well, his father was a military guy, right? So they probably traveled a lot.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But still, his accent is so thick, like so southern.
Horrible.
And a mom and dad don't have anything. That made no sense. Like, what was up? Like, does he normally talk like that, or like is he just?
Oh, as an actor? Oh, I have no idea.
That's what I mean. Like, is he really? Okay, that's the only way I would say. Like, all right, fine. He's they want him for the role, and he has that accent in real life. Fine. But if that's the accent he chose to use, makes no sense.
She's so her age, she is 20 years older than him.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would not. I think she looked young. I mean, I think she looked young. I'm surprised. Okay.
She played Leslie Nielsen's wife in a movie.
Oh my goodness.
What movie was he married that it was somebody that we did not know?
Wow.
We might have to get her. She was in Slapshot 3 that came out in 2008.
You're telling me she was older than Paulie?
She's in a lot of stuff. We might have to get her.
All right.
She's in Final Destination too. Maybe our future guest can help us out. But yeah. So in order to get him to not go to jail, he has to go with his dad, who seems like he hasn't been around obviously for a long time.
So the mom, this kid's 17 years old. The mom thinks the best way to handle her troublesome son is to send him across the world
Mm-hmm.
to the father who's not even expecting him. So
Well,
like,
no, he is expecting him, but in a day, because he says, "Oh, we're a day ahead here."
oh, so the father was expecting him.
No, he was expecting, but
Okay,
the way he
okay.
said it, he's
But-
like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Well-
we're yeah.
He did get caught with the hooker. So I mean, I think that's why.
Dude, her face she was frightened.
Well, her face, the son looked like he's like, Dad, like, is there another one for me? Like
The funniest part was, did you think about this? After he sees his dad with a hooker, they go inside. What does he say to his son? The rules are no racing that me and mom agreed upon. And here, you get the bedroom.
wait, okay. First of all, was there a bedroom in that apartment? It was
Yeah, it was like a tiny. Oh,
it
yeah,
was
no,
a
it was like a closet.
It was a closet and it was a mess. So like, I mean, like, I wonder if like the hookers like cringe when they have to go there. They're like, oh, this guy again. It's like there's no room. It's a mess everywhere. I mean, it probably smells so bad in there.
Hooking stories. I remember watching. This is a tangent, but I remember watching Atlantic City Hookers on like HBO, and I remember it was like them all at the bar, and they were like all talking about the guys that they slept with, and it was just so funny how they were just made. It was like a comedy roast. Each of them was roasting the guy they were just with.
You like those educational programs, huh?
Oh, dude, hey. If you want to be a great dad, you gotta know all the ins and outs.
Yeah, you gotta know how babies are made. All right, I get it.
That's where I learned. Now, I never thought in my life I'd hear a woman say, "So yeah, he just doo-dooed on a plate." Actual words from Atlantic City Hookers. If you want to watch that, I'm sure there's sequels to that
Oh,
that you
my
can check
goodness.
out. But that's his rules. Is he has to sleep in his bed.
But
his
was
dad
there a
just
bed
slept-
there? Like, I feel like
Yeah, there was.
it literally
There was a
looked
little-
like it was one room. It was one room that just had everything.
No, there was a little closet because when the dad came home the first night, when the rules were you come home after school and no being around cars, and the dad the next day went into the room when he got home, opened the door, and it was empty.
Okay, so here's my thing. So the mom is sending him there because this kid can't stop racing and he's always in trouble. So
But can he not stop racing? I know he got in trouble like 3 or 4 times. Like he has priors in different states, but it seems like does he race once and get trouble? Because that's what it seems like happened here. It was one bad race, and they have to move.
No, I'm my guess is obviously he's got a racing addiction and
Yeah.
he just can't. But the fact is, it's got to be known that where the father lives, it's a racing town. I mean, clearly, they have these underground, lair with all these cars and they're constantly racing. So it can't be like new to the father that he doesn't know that there's racing going on where he lives. So what makes you think that this would be a good place for my son to go when there's a major racing capital where he's living right now?
Or if the mom caught him when he was with the hooker and he just wasn't even paying attention, and he was like, she was on the other and was like, Sean's in trouble, he's got to come with you. He's like, oh yeah, he's got to be on a flight tomorrow. Oh yeah.
Man. Yikes.
I'm coming. I mean, he's coming when?
All right, all right.
7th?
You're going so far off the rails right now. I feel like we're back doing one of those old movies that forget the guy's name. But anyway, all right. Next.
But no, so he goes the next day and he has his uniform already. So his dad's pretty ready because he's going to school and he has like his shoes, like their special shoes he has to wear to school. So there's like this whole getup to his private school that he's enrolled in a day.
In a day.
Like is that
How does he know where to go? He doesn't understand a word. He's able to find his way to the classroom. He doesn't understand one word. And I love how in this school there's two American. Well, first of all, it seems that everybody speaks English except for the teacher.
Oh, I know. Well, for the whole movie, everybody speaks English.
I said everybody speaks English,
I know.
except the teacher. Not only doesn't speak English, she speaks so much Japanese. Like it's like so strong that like I don't even think the English speaking Japanese kids can understand her.
Yeah. Or the gang. When the gang is talking business, like the younger gang members or the older gang members. And I had to say, the main gang guy, the uncle, not Japanese. Like, not Japanese at all. I don't know, but he didn't look Japanese to me.
Well, he's the guy from he's in Kill Bill.
Oh, he is the main.
He's the
guy?
one. That, you see the movie Kill Bill?
I've seen Kill Bill. Yeah, I don't.
He's the one that gives Uma Thurman the sword.
Really, the main guy?
The sushi. The sushi. The guy in the sushi place that it was. She goes there to visit like Hanzo sword or whatever. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's him. But
okay.
So
okay.
The fact that there's only one. It seems like Bow Wow is the only other American there. So like somehow he's there, and automatically it feels. I feel like even like the gang members, they all got attached to this new guy really quick. Like Han, like what was like I don't understand. Like he's a new kid at school. I don't think they would really pay attention to him, and he was able to attract everybody in 2 seconds.
Well, do you remember when you were young? The new kid always got the girls were always into the new kid. They're like, oh man, what's his story? What's
the
his
girls
thing?
But I mean, if I get
even
Bow
the
Wow
guys, you're
immediately,
like, hey, who's this guy?
But you're gonna tell me that it didn't seem like a prison, like the way Bow Wow approached them. And
I know,
literally, like it was like so like, listen, whatever you need, I'll help. I get you whatever you got. And my guess is he doesn't speak Japanese either.
No. and his story we know nothing about because all he says to Sean is, yo, you're an army brat too? Man, I'm an army brat. And then he's like, no, I'm not. And that was it. And then they didn't mention it again. We had no idea his backstory. Nothing was involved. And then the main girl, I forget her name. I wrote it down. But she was from Australia. So her story was that she was from Australia. That was it. And then everybody else is Japanese.
Is that normal? Like in Japan, like in schools, you get, just a couple of English speaking, from all over the world and thrown into classes and that, no idea. Like, I don't know. That seems kind of hardcore.
Full Japanese. And I love that when he was flirting with the girl and his screen name was Bama Boy and the whole computer, everything on the computer was Japanese except the AIM chat back and forth was in all English.
How is he able to figure that stuff out?
Wouldn't it be a Japanese keyboard? Like,
of course.
A Japanese computer isn't
right.
What we're
Japanese letters, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And he doesn't seem like the brightest bulb, so I can't like he's destined to fail going to the school. Like the mom talk about bad parenting. I think because she seems to be kind of a hoe herself, so she's like, you know what? Let me send my son out of here so I can really just work on my job.
But we do see it like right away with Twinkie when he talks about his car, which is it's so funny. I'm not saying a movie nowadays would be able to do that, to have a Hulk car, but at that point, Marvel, they never thought Marvel.
Right.
If somebody told you in 2006, like Marvel's gonna be like the biggest thing ever, it was like, okay, there was like X-Men. Was there anything else out at that point? Probably. Oh, Incredible Hulk. They had a couple Hulk movies by then.
They might have, but would that be cool? Like Hulk is a cartoon.
No.
And he was so excited unveiling it. Like he kept looking at his own car and like smiling. Like every time he sees his car, he gets all excited. It's the Hulk.
And he lets this stranger drive his car for the first time. A, you don't know if this guy's a bad driver. B, he might be a good or bad driver, but then he has to remember to be on the other side of the road and follow different rules. And
literally, how long has he known him? One class?
Oh,
one class.
Barely.
And they're like best friends. So like, because it looks like Bow Wow doesn't talk to anybody else throughout the whole movie. So until what's his name? Sean gets there, Bow Wow was by himself the whole time, outside of selling. What
his thing was weird because his relationship was weird because then he was part of the other clique with the other kids that were like in the Han's friends. There were Han's friends that were still in high school because Han wasn't in high school, and then Bow Wow was with all the girls in the one scene because he was at the party before Sean got there later in the movie. But
also, how did he get all that stuff? Everything he's selling, where does he get it from?
Probably like we buy things from China. He gets it from China, like the knockoff stuff.
Okay.
He had an iPod that was broken. He got his ass kicked before it. He's like, I don't issue refunds.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And he gets pissed off when Sean saves him by saying, "I'll give you my iPod." And he's like, "Oh man, now people are gonna think I give refunds." And I'm like, "This guy was beating your ass."
But you know what though? He does have a point then, because now everybody's gonna want a refund. I'm assuming it's not the first broken thing he's sold.
Oh,
So
maybe that's why he has no friends.
That is exactly why he doesn't have any friends.
Yeah. No, but the reason he knew that because he was trying to sell him all the stuff. And he goes, "Hey, what's that steering wheel for?" And then that's when it revealed, because he's addicted to cars, man. He's like, "Oh man, what's that steering wheel?" And boom.
Is it possible to be addicted to cars like this? Because he seems so. The fact that the father said no racing, no that so they clearly it's a problem with their son. Can someone be addicted to cars?
I would think people can be addicted to anything. But do you remember MTV True Life? Do you remember the guy that was in love with his car? That's a good one.
Did he have sex with the car?
I don't know. But I mean, did hear. Listen, I do. There was one part when he went to the gas station, and the gas station attendant said, "Fill her up," and he goes, "I already did."
Wait, so that was like a serious show? Like he was really in love with the car?
Oh yeah, do you remember that show?
No,
there was one that the guy said,
"Okay,
I'm addicted."
I don't watch
eating.
the educational shows that you watch. You know, you clearly watch. You know, about hookers in Atlanta and guys that love their cars.
2006 to 2007, we had Dish Network, which was like terrible because they didn't get any of like they didn't get the Yankees or anything, but they had Fox Reality and all these reality shows. And I watched Eliminate, The Fifth Wheel all the time. But one I watched was the MTV True Life, and that was that one. And there was one, the guy was like in love with balloons. And then another one, he loved eating paper. So he just ate whatever paper he could.
That one I've seen because of my strange addiction. I've seen people eat paper. I saw someone eat a sofa. Like he was literally eating a sofa. And like, I'm not kidding you. So I saw that. But so when you say that, like they're in love with balloons, in love with the car, like, are they like kissing it? Are they like carrying it around? Like when you see, like, I'm being serious. Like, what does that mean? Like you're in love with balloons?
That's
like,
a great question.
Are they
really
like?
Remember that
do they like
much?
lay naked on like a pile of balloons in a bed and like roll around?
Just tie balloons to their.
Or does he make like balloon animals and like
balloon people? He makes balloon people and he sets them at the table. No, but when it comes to the cars, but Sean is somehow addicted because he sees the steering wheel. And they should have done this. Like he starts twitching a little bit, scratching. Like he's an addict, and he's like, "Oh man, what kind of steering wheel is that?" But then from there, we go to something that I didn't think could exist, but it does. Just like the development in LA or wherever they were out in California, the fact that was abandoned, just like this abandoned. This is it's not like this was like gnarly looking, that the walls were all collapsed. It looked like a brand new parking garage.
Brand new. It was huge.
Yes.
I mean, it's big enough that they could race, and not one car there outside of the ones that were driven there to watch the race.
Yeah.
Like not
it seemed
one
like they
car.
locked. Well, do you remember when they got there? They had one of their people, which is so silly because if like a random person who wanted to park there in the neighborhood, like, "Oh yeah, we're late to dinner, can we park in this garage?" They had the parking attendant guy, like a random guy that was like, I guess, running it, that was letting people in. What would he say? Like, "Oh, you're not a racer, you can't come in." Like,
it's ridiculous. And literally, they go through cars in this movie, like again, like the disposable cars. The number of cars that are just beaten up, and no one seems to care. No one seems to care.
No, not at all. But one thing I have to give a props to this movie, because obviously stunt people, what they do is amazing. Stunt drivers, we chatted with a few of them. Unbelievable, man! How great it looks. Like the shot of the people, that was unbelievable. When they did that drift in the city, holy shit, that looks so cool.
That one person got hit. You mean that one? That scene? And that was the only, like, I mean, listen, the driving in that scene was ridiculous. I mean, the weaving in and out of the cars, and like, I mean, how fast they were going. Like, not one car got hit. Not one car spun out. Not one car, like, yeah. Now,
obviously
not
they're not
only
going to
that-
show the mistakes in the movie, but even in the parking garage when they're going up the ramp, that sometimes I'm nervous to drive up.
Of
When
course.
it's so skinny. When you see these people like sideways going, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, listen, again, I don't know if it's possible to go that fast up those ramps in a garage. It's impossible. They're so like, you really have to like hold the steering wheel tight and slow down because it is a tight turn. And, I can't imagine cars going that fast, let alone having enough room to drift all the way up
I know.
without hitting the wall. No way.
But they did it. That was
Oh,
real.
yeah.
That's 2006.
It's not-
There's
it's
no
not
way they
real.
had the technology to make it look that good.
Excuse me, it was a camera inside the car, and they probably had a camera that was on like
there was a far away shot of it. You could
and it was probably a Matchbox car up like one of those like kid garages where they have the
Yeah.
red slide thing. That's
Yeah,
what it probably was. There's no way you could drift like that.
I'm
Okay.
gonna find it behind the scenes and I'll send it to you.
Do it, because I've only seen drifting like that, like I said, in Mario Kart. Because if you don't know how to drift in Mario Kart, you're never gonna win.
Oh, you're done. Yeah,
You're done.
go home. Who's your go-to Mario Kart?
I like Waluigi. Oh, actually,
Oh.
well, I like Waluigi when I just want to be silly, but Toad. But Toad, to me, Toad is like the fast one.
I always went Donkey Kong because once you get going, you're good.
No, you can't. Donkey Kong's slow. Him and Bowser
he's
have
slow
like
to
the slow
start.
cars.
He's slow to start, but if you're good at driving,
No, you can't. You can't catch Toad.
well, we'll see. We'll have to next time we're together. We'll play Mario Kart
All
and
right.
see who
You got
reigns
it. All right.
supreme. So then we get the girl that we see from school. Sean's already flirting with her, and you see the boyfriend come over, who's like the badass. His uncle's
Okay,
in the mafia.
let me tell you something. Sean has some balls because
dude.
he hits on her throughout the whole movie, knowing that she's dating the leader of the gang, and he doesn't care. And
I
you know, and again, he doesn't know anybody. It's not like he has any backup, right? So it's like it takes a lot of balls of what he's doing. Like really, I mean, he's not a bright guy, so.
No, he's maybe that's how it works out. But no, he has a lot of balls for himself. But in a way, he's kind of selfish because if you notice when he walks over the boyfriend, what's his name? KT, I think his nickname is.
No, it was DK because remember Donkey Kong.
DK. Oh yeah, Dirt. So DK, when DK comes over, she like quivers a little bit because she's kind of like scared. And he should be like, you know what? Maybe I should be like kind of nice because what if I keep flirting with her and he's this guy who seems like a psycho who's like gonna hit her or do something bad to her, which he sort of did later in the movie when he
Of course
stole her.
Listen, he's definitely a nut. You know what DK stands for, right?
What?
They said it in the movie.
You
Drift-
just said it, Donkey Kong.
No, you don't remember? He goes, his name is DK, and he goes, you know what that stands for? And he goes, what, Donkey Kong? And he goes, no, Drift. I think it's. Now I'm thinking, was it Drift King?
That makes sense.
That might be Drift King. Okay. I like Donkey Kong
Drift
better.
King.
Can you imagine his name was Donkey Kong though? Like that's like
That'd be
it's-
funny. Oh my god! But now they're getting ready to race, and right away Han, who we obviously know him for the other movies, we mentioned him before, and within seconds, he gives his car to Sean, and that's a nice car.
It is a nice car, and he says, "I want to see what he has," or something like that. I want to see what he's like. He knows this guy for 5 minutes. Like
Yeah.
why? Like so, like you're willing to risk, which clearly he does a few times in this movie, but your car because you want to see what he had. Like Han must be loaded. He must be loaded.
Or he's loaded, and he's stealing that much money off the top from DK's
Yeah, but
uncle.
and we find out obviously he's collecting money for people, which they don't explain why though, right?
No,
so
they
like,
don't. No.
yeah, so I don't know what Han does.
Yeah. Could have been like bookies or something. I thought it was going to be drugs, but they never revealed what it was. It
No,
was
they
all
don't.
about the cut that they get. Because he said, when he's driving with Sean and Sean sort of asked about it, he says, it's better to have 50% of something than 100% of nothing. So it's not like he was stealing money. He was more not paying his cut of what he was making.
I mean, I would think that it would. I mean, I would assume they make money on racing, but there's got to be more than that. Like, like I said,
I thought it had to be drugs or
has to be
gamble
something,
or
yeah.
something.
I mean, that guy that we will talk about in a little bit that Sean goes to collect from, that had to be something pretty heavy. I mean, he was pretty heavy, but so it's
Double Yokozuna, that guy.
oh
But no,
my goodness.
you're right. To give somebody a car. This isn't like a game of pickup basketball, and you're like, I'm gonna pass that kid, see
Right.
what he has. This is your car, and obviously he trashes the shit.
What
he's
if he's
terrible.
never driven ever in his life? Han doesn't know that. So like
No.
the fact that he's saying, yeah, let me see what he has. Like what if like the guy, like he talked a lot at big game, but he's really like, listen, I don't have a license. I don't know. Like, he's never
Yeah.
driven. And yeah, I mean, like the fact that he basically crawled up that's still banging into the wall, clanging everything around. That's how he got there. And Han didn't seem that upset.
He was kind of cool with it. He just said,
And not
"Don't
only-
leave town."
And don't leave town. And even Sean didn't seem that upset.
Oh, dude, I wrote here, if that was me, and I like when Sean crashed on the first turn, I would have stopped. I would have took the
Okay.
keys out. They'd be like,
Stopped.
"Oh, I'm not gonna win."
Wait, stopped. I would have just left the car in the bottom of the parking lot and ran out of there because, I mean, why even bother rolling up? Like, first of all, that's embarrassing. I mean, like, you talked a lot of crap to the main guy of the gang, and you couldn't even make it up the hill, and then you're gonna roll there banging around, and everybody's gonna see this, and then you gotta meet with Han, who you borrowed his car.
Yeah.
They don't know you. You've been there one day. Get out. I would have ran so far away, and I would have said, "Hey, give me the plane back to America."
Yeah, I'll go to prison.
Yeah, tell them to go to prison.
No, but I love
Yeah.
everybody. It's so funny. There's only like one race a night, it seems. So like everybody's laughing at him, but I bet you none of those other people have a nice car to race because it just seemed like it was so silly that it was like, all right. Because even later in the movie, it's like one race. That's all we see is one race. We don't see like Bow Wow race. It would be good
No.
to see like Twinkie race somebody or somebody different. No.
No, Bow Wow should have raced. Then, we already had and died in the race. But then I was saying we already had a Han chase.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a
yeah.
race. We had a chase. So we had a race at the
Han
end.
was a good
and
racer.
chase. Who?
Han was a good. He
Oh.
was good in that getaway, and the way he flirted with those
But
girls.
he was good. He died. He crashed and died.
Well, he got hit. That's why he died.
Okay, but so what does that mean? Yeah, if you're a good racer, you win and you make it to the end. If you're a bad racer, you crash and die.
Dale Earnhardt Sr. was a pretty good racer.
Didn't he die? I mean, I'm just saying. It's too soon, but I'm just saying.
Dale Earnhardt, yeah, NASCAR fans, we love you guys. But yeah. Anyway, so God, so when Sean, this is a scene that I laugh at so much thinking about because it's so funny because it reminds me of like a drug commercial. Like you come home, you smell like weed, and your parents like, where were you? But when the dad is pounding beers, like I love the trope of the dad pounding beer. I gotta make sure I do that when my kids are old enough and they're out late. You have to make sure you don't throw the bottles out. They have to sit on the table. So the person that comes in has to count real quick, like, oh shit, they had 7. They're pissed. like they have that there. But how drunk his dad is. And I love he gets up and he goes, where were you? And Sean goes, looks like you had a party here. And he goes, have you been racing, Sean? You're out of here. Like he's getting ready to toss him.
He's there one day. He's literally there one day. And that's how, again, that's how bad of a problem he has. He could have said, what are you out partying, doing drugs, you drinking? No. Are you racing? The first thing he said, like he wasn't even questioning anything else. He knew the fact that Sean somehow was able to get involved in a race within being in Japan one day. He got
It's pretty
involved in
phenomenal. Illegal racing.
Yeah.
You know, illegal underground racing. And he was
in
able to
one-
use somebody's car. Yeah.
in one day. Like
Yeah.
he's supposed to be going so far away from racing, yet he goes to class and then immediately after class gets in a race. What are the odds?
God. And then the next
Yeah.
scene is what we talked about,
Okay.
where you're
All right.
alluding to with double Yokozuna.
There's a big problem in this scene. Very big problem.
Well, That
Oh, I
guy's
mean, yeah.
big. Yeah.
So okay, so I guess Han is gonna make Sean work to, I guess, pay off the car, which the car seems pretty expensive. So I'm assuming that Sean's gonna have to do a lot of work for Han. I mean, the fact that he's asking Sean to drive him around, which was kind of weird, right?
He just crashed your car. But I love the line. He goes, "Get in," and he goes, "Don't worry, I'll get you your money." And he goes, and in my head, I'm like, "You have no job. Your dad doesn't seem like his dad.
He doesn't
lives
have
in
a car.
shack."
He doesn't have a job. He doesn't speak Japanese.
Yeah,
But he'll
that's
get him
right.
the money.
I'll get you the money, man. How?
Okay. So here's the problem, and I don't know if you even like caught it. So
Yes.
he goes there to this Japanese bathhouse, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess in order to go in there, you have to put a towel on.
I think it's
Even if
standard when you walk in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so he goes there. He asked this massive guy, and by the way, it's the first scene we see boobs in this movie.
Oh my
It's-
god, dude! The fact that the way they show them,
Oh my gosh! I mean,
it filled the screen.
the guy, he's definitely packing a lot of heat up there, right?
Yes.
So he's asking this guy. He's collecting money from this huge sumo wrestler. He's in his towel, both of them. But the sumo wrestler throws him out of the building, and he's fully dressed.
Oh, I did notice that, and in my head, I'm like, they probably, yeah, it's so dumb. Why would they do that? Because it's so corny that in your mind when that happened, right away I'm like, they really said, you know what? I'm gonna throw you out, but put your clothes on.
Yeah, he's like, all right, listen, I'm a mean guy, and obviously, he's got these big tattoos everywhere, and he goes, but I have some decency. Get dressed first. And he's gonna
Get dressed first before I throw you off what seems like a loading dock.
and it does. And if that's really how it went down, which I'm assuming it did not go down that way, but if it did go down that way, and you're Sean, at that point this guy's gonna kick your ass. Why don't you just run out of there? I mean, you're gonna wait around, and not only that, he's got the cojones to go back in there after he got thrown out the first time.
Oh, I know.
Which lasted, I think, about 3. It was almost like those old, West, bars when you go into the swinging doors and someone runs in there, and then the cowboys throw them right back out. That's exactly what happened twice in a row with Sean.
And it worked because the second time when the guy came out, the big boy, he threw Han his roll of money. So this guy, which I don't know where the money was. I guess it was in his robe that barely fit on his body, or he had it.
I know where it was.
Under his
boob. He put it underneath his boob.
It was tucked, yeah. But no, it was so funny that he was like holding on to the money, waiting for the moment that Han would be around. Because who walks around with that much money? I don't know how much it was, but obviously it was significant enough that he would just had it sitting there. Wait, Han, here it is.
Wait, not only that, so clearly he was going to pay Han anyway. So why even toss out Sean? That was just for fun. Because he had the money.
Yeah.
Like I said, he already had the money waiting for Han. It's almost like Han knew this was going to happen. And he's like, all right, I got to teach him a lesson. Let's want to embarrass him a little bit and throw him in there. Because he had the money. He was going to pay him anyway. There was no need to throw him out there. Again, he did tell him to get dressed first. So, I mean.
At least he was a gentleman about it. But no, you're right. Maybe it was a setup.
Could be.
He was like, no matter what, I know this guy's gonna pay me, but I want to see the Sean guy's legit. Because then after that, he goes, okay, so he's basically like, you're my errand boy. I might call you once a week or once an hour. You answer, okay? So it was like this little connection, and then from there they go to they go to that card game in the back of an arcade.
Yeah, there's a lot of it just. Is that how life is in Japan? I just feel like it's just, and again, this kid's 17 years old in high school, and so is Bow Wow, and yet they do all the most illegal underground things the entire movie.
Yeah, no, there's no rules here. Even here is when he starts talking about the money, and I wrote down what was it, the shipment? Because he said, when's the shipment coming in? He's overhearing DK and Han talking. And I'm like, drugs, car parts, nothing ever was mentioned at all. No, this whole movie.
And wouldn't you be nervous though? Also, going to this where the gangs are hanging out. You're like, you're clearly already not likable, and you destroyed one of their cars. Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't you be nervous, like just meeting up with them?
Oh yeah, dude. And then the fact that it's all these it's like everything's a speakeasy, hidden doors, because they have this is a hidden door, sort of, and then there's a door beyond that. But later, how about when they go to the club? They're in a bar that's like a divey bar. They go through like a hidden door, and then they're at this bright club with girls dancing and bow wow.
Yeah, well, clearly age doesn't make a difference. You know, it doesn't matter what age you are. You can hang out at all the clubs you want down there.
Yeah, no rules at all. But yeah, so Sean's dad. So Sean calls his dad. How about this? This is let's call it day 3 at the most. So he already like got caught racing, came home super late. And again, I don't know what time of year this is. So maybe it is the time when it gets darker in Japan. I'm going to say no, like darker earlier. But the fact that he's on the payphone and he goes, "Hey dad, I had to stay after school, for some extracurricular activities." And then he doesn't even finish the voicemail because he sees the love interest. He gets on the phone real quick.
What are the odds of that happening? That she's walking there exactly when he's on the payphone. But
You're right.
does he really think the father's going to buy the fact that he's actually doing his schoolwork?
No, not at all.
Not at all. And he's very serious when he makes that call. Like he thinks he's going to get one buy on his dad.
He has his girl over anyway that night. So
Yeah.
maybe he was happy. He had his geisha girl over that night. But
And she's
one
not even
thing-
Japanese. She's not even Japanese. I don't know what
girl?
nationality- Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember what she looked. I just remember she had her head down and she was like, she looked very ashamed. She's like, "Oh no, damn it!" Yeah, God, that must be awkward in that role. Like if you're like the prostitute, like the son comes home or the
Yeah.
wife comes home, or it's gonna be kind of weird.
Got to do the walk of shame.
Or do you think hookers are prepared for that and they have like different costumes, so right away they could throw on like,
A wig.
I'm just a electric company, just checking the.
You know
checking
what?
the
If
meter."
they don't, they should start doing that.
They should.
Because you know what? Then a lot of people wouldn't get caught. Hey, honey,
would.
I hired a maid to clean the house for you.
Yeah.
It was a cleaning service.
A plumber. Oh,
A plumber.
honey. I know the plumber. You can see her G-string, but
You know what? They
charges
should
only
also
50 an
have
hour.
like they should put like one of those stickers on cars when they pull up to like having an affair, just in case someone stops home. Listen, the car's outside. It says maid service.
Yeah.
See,
Husbands are
we would
breaking
save a lot of
pipes in their
marriages.
house.
We
Yeah.
just saved a lot of marriages.
Honey, you might say, I gotta call the plumber, and then the husband's like hitting the pipe, breaking the pipe open, water leak. Oh, I gotta call her again. But one thing that was pretty funny in this movie, and it's kind of a random thing to write into a movie, so I don't know if there's some like loose truth on it. When they're going super fast, and he's driving Han's car, and he's gunning it, and he's going like 195 kilometers per hour, and the cop, he's like, "Oh shit, a cop!" And the cop just looks, and you see the meter, and when Han says, "Oh, Japanese cop cars can't go over 180, so if you're going fast that, they don't even bother," I'm like, "Whoa."
And again, we're talking about driving on like streets and highways to go that fast to have control of the car, because from what I've heard, like in like an Indy car race, like it takes a lot of strength to just turn and like control the cars when they're going that fast, and they're driving it like they're just driving on a regular highway like it's nothing, going that fast.
Oh, I know. No, I know. I couldn't imagine that.
And to control the car, there's no way. Like there's so many times you would think the cars would was it tailfish or tailspin or like with the back of the car, like
I think tailspin,
that should
yeah.
Tailspin. That would
Fishtail,
happen.
fishtail.
Fishtail. That's what I meant. So that's what happened. That should have happened multiple times in this movie. The speed that they were going, and it never does. All it is all drifting. It's all drifting.
We're like the men. We're like the manly men. Or us talking about cars would be like like thinking about like how many horsepower is in the Nissan Rogue that we got. I couldn't even guess the number.
I am so not a car person. Like literally, like when I first, like I think it was might have been one of the first times I met my wife's father, like when we were dating, we had to put windshield wiper fluid in there, and he lifts up the hood and he's like, "Yeah, this is the this, and this is the flux the capacitor, and this is all this." And I'm looking, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm looking at all. Like, I mean, like literally, like I am so not a car person. So you say manly, this is definitely not my my cup of tea.
My dad used to have me hold the flashlight. That was it. And I would like look away like the whole time. But no, so this is what I mentioned before. Like, this is the scene where they go to like the dive bar and they're there for like 5 minutes, and then they go through the secret door, and then they are at this bright club. One quote that Twinkie says that's pretty funny, that when you hear it right away, you don't get it, or maybe it, like when it really hits you, it made me laugh. He goes, "I don't just think outside the box, I tear it up." And I'm like, wow. Like, this guy who seems like a nerdy outsider in school in a sense, he has like 3 girls around him. The rest of this movie, he's sort of a ladies' man. So did Sean get him in with that crew? Because I don't know where that connection is.
This is the kid that has everything, right? So they probably use him. I remember, in my fraternity, like one of the guys in my fraternity who was a drug dealer, he was a slob, but he always had girls around him. I hope he's not listening. But he always had girls around him because he gave him free weed. So I think it's the same thing with Bow Wow. I think, because he's always got, whatever they need, he just uses that to his advantage.
Yeah, so it worked for him. And then they go from there. So they go from dive bar to bright club through another door, because Han's like, this way. And if I was Sean, I'd be like, all right, obviously I'm into the Australian girl, but I got to see what this next room. And then they go into like a ginormous auto body shop. So they open that room and they play like the song that was big then, the whistle song, that rap song.
Yeah.
And you see all these cars. And in my head, I'm like, how much is this worth? Like,
where are they getting those cars from? And how, like, it's insane. Like, it's
Hans loaded.
He's got to be. I mean,
he can't skim off the top that much money. Like, that's insane.
It's and clearly, like, the gang doesn't know what Han's doing. So, like, how are they missing some of these things? Like, how are they missing some of the cars, or like or the money that he's taking, because it's a lot. Like, it's definitely loaded. So, like, they should fire their accountant.
Enough to murder him.
Or that.
Enough to be like, you should kill him.
Yeah.
Because he looks at his paperwork. He's like, oh, I put it on spreadsheets for you, Uncle. And the uncle is like, yeah, but did you notice that your partner's been skimming money from you?
So he had such a strong Japanese accent, the uncle. Like, he almost sounded like the guy from Karate Kid 2.
Oh,
Miyagi,
yeah.
Miyagi.
Yeah. Yeah, your son. No, he did have a super strong accent. So yeah, we see this place. He gives him another car. He gives Sean a red car that he's like, yeah, you can have that one. And it's like, that's still pretty nice. So that's worth something. And then we get like the great foreshadowing in the movie. The next day when Sean's getting ready to go to school, the dad is restoring an old car in the garage. And that says a pretty great quote. He gives him that quote. It's like an old Japanese saying, like, a nail that sticks out gets hammered. I'm like, that's pretty good. Because he was telling basically like, hey, dude, you're the white kid at school. To be on time. Because he was like, get out of here right now, so you're not late.
Do we know why the dad isn't living in Japan?
Why he's living there? He's military, so that's what he has, like a military day job.
He doesn't wear a uniform once in a movie. He seems to always be home and drinking. So is he really in the military? I feel like he's not working.
Honey, I'm still in the military. He's discharged. He's just collecting the check.
Listen, he's got hookers all the time. He's drinking all the time, and he's home all day long. Not sure what he's doing.
Sounds pretty good.
Maybe he's a pimp.
Maybe he's a pimp. Yeah. Maybe that's why she looked so disappointed, because she just got her weekly review. Only 7 hand jobs? Come on.
All right.
Pick it up.
Really?
So then from here, after the dad tells him to, hey, make sure you're not late to school, this is where we kind of mentioned before when Twinkie was selling the crappy iPod. He was getting his ass kicked, and Sean was trying to be the hero. He gave him his iPod, and then Twinkie was kind of pissed at him. Seemed like really pissed at him. He's like, man, I don't give any refunds. Everybody wins. And then that was like the first again, like you said, he was so dumb to flirt with this girl that, you know, her boyfriend's hooked up with like the mafia, but she was like, oh, it's so difficult being the hero, right? And he's like, yeah, it is. And
Well,
then,
you know, I mean, you got to blame the girl too, because she knows, obviously, like she should say, listen, I really can't talk to you. I don't want you to get hurt.
yeah,
That's all she had to say.
Murdered.
Although I don't think he would listen anyway, but
No, he would not listen. No,
And-
she was she. I don't know what else she was in, but she had that look of that time period.
Yeah.
Like she looked like
no, she looked good.
Christina Milian.
Yeah,
like
yep.
she had like that same look.
So I have a question. So did Han explain to Sean yet, you know, what he's been doing?
No, he didn't tell him at all.
No, he tells
No.
him he has a heart to heart with him. He explains that he's
No, a little bit, but he does it. He's very vague about.
he is, but he
everything.
still talks about, like, you know, like doing things on the side or whatever. But again, he's known Sean for one day. The fact that he's telling him about like his sides hustle and all that stuff, like, seems like it seems strange that like everybody's just clinging to this guy and like they don't know him at all. Give him the keys to the car, and not for nothing, Sean talks a lot of crap about driving. He hasn't proved himself once so far in the movie. Like, you know, like he literally has not. He's crashed every car he's driven. He hasn't won a, well, he kind of won the first race, I guess, in a way, but it just, yeah, I don't know. All right.
Well, what do you mean when they were broing out having beers while everybody else was on the soccer field? So was that Han's property? Like I don't understand. Or was that like the high school field?
Yeah.
There's just like I wish we knew more about like where he was making money, because the thing that he said that we never found out what actually was the product or service he was selling was when he said, you know, when it comes to you got to make sure you give them their cut, because 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. So he's basically like, no matter what you do that's on the side,
Right.
you have to give them a little bit of it. So like there was no way for him to ever, I guess, do anything illegal like side hustle without giving it to DK's uncle.
Yeah. And you know, like back to the girlfriend thing. You see this in every movie. Like you see it in Karate Kid. He does the same thing. Like, you're the new person, you don't know anybody, and you're going to keep hitting on the one person you probably should not.
True.
And it happens in every movie. It's like the new person always gets, you know, and there's always that angry either ex-boyfriend or boyfriend. Like, you're the only one. You don't have any friends.
DK.
You're going to do that? Like, you don't, like, you're going to be that tough that you don't care?
No, I know. I couldn't imagine
Yeah.
that. To be that blind, I guess maybe
No, it's not
true love
blind.
for
He
them too.
just doesn't care. Like, he's listen,
Yeah.
clearly this kid's 17. Okay, again, he's supposed to be 17 years old. Think about when you were 17 years old. Like, this kid has balls of steel. He's talking crap to the mafia, the gang leaders, anybody he can. Like, he doesn't have a fear in his any bone in his body. Not afraid of anything.
Well, I guess when you are that young, I remember how ballsy I was with things.
I as ballsy as you might have thought you were, you see a gang.
Well, not to the
Wait,
mafia.
forget the
no,
Yakuza. You see a gang from anywhere. You're the only one there. You're gonna talk crap while you're the only one there. Like, if this movie was like real reality, he either would have been dead already, or he would have got his ass kicked by every single member of that gang multiple times.
Yeah, but he's in the alley. How about in the alley at the end of the movie? Yeah, like the guys with every weapon. A guy had the chain, and the other guy had the bat, and then they let him walk right past. Like, they surrounded him,
Yeah,
and then like he just walked right through.
yeah, that's okay. All right.
But we did find out from Han when he asked, "Why don't you race?" Han's response was, "There hasn't been a need to, but when I do, I can." So, and he shows how good he is when he does that spinner on the two hot girls. And then he gives the number, which there's no callback to that. It's not like we see them later in the movie, but he does like that spin, and that works. That's the mating ritual, I guess, because they were into it.
Yeah, but if Sean is that much of a racer, clearly, how does he not how to do that kind of stuff? Like, wouldn't it be part of the?
Well, that wasn't Sean doing it yet. That was Han.
No, I know
Han
that's
did
what I'm
that.
saying though. But Sean doesn't know how to do it.
Oh,
So, like, you would think like that's part of the job, right? If you're gonna be a racer and you street race and you do all these, like, you're gonna know how to drift and do donuts and all that kind of stuff. Like, I feel like Sean just knows how to step on the pedal and go.
yeah, he just knows how to go straight.
Yeah,
Well, he's like Vin Diesel.
That's it.
Sort of.
Oh.
He's just how do you live your life a quarter mile at a time? That's how those guys do. But then from there, then if he knew how to race, Jamie, we wouldn't get this training
Oh my
montage
gosh.
of him racing on the fisherman docks. Because how about the Asian guys? We get their subtitles. It's racing is shit.
So clearly, this is not the first trainee they've seen because they know what's going on.
Oh, I know. They know that this.
And
guy
it's
doesn't
such a
have it.
like a rocky moment because he. How many times did he say again? Every time he went up the
Again.
hill, again. Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, so is that
Even
how?
when he almost did it again.
And he's training, so he's never done this before. He's training on a mountain. Like one false move and he's gonna go right off the mountain.
No, I know. Oh my god, dude! The training there, and then at the end race
Oh.
scene,
Well,
which they said when they uttered the line, whenever he races, DK is the only one that finishes. In my head, I'm like, when they shut down this like road because all these cars and people are dying.
they're and they just ignore the people that died doing it. If he's the only one that
It's
finishes,
like Rainbow Road in Mario Kart.
well, listen. I mean, not for nothing. At the end of the race, when there's a major accident that happens, they're cheering. Like there should that should have been death. Like that should they didn't know if someone died or not. They were cheering for the winner. They didn't care. They didn't care what happened to that loser.
How about the part when after doing the training montage and he's telling him like again, how about when Sean, that's when we get to Sean's dad checking the room during the montage and he's not there. And then Sean says to Han, he comes there with his bags. Do you remember? He has like all his bags, which we didn't get a scene of the dad saying, "Hey, you're kicked out," and nothing like that. But then all we get Han is saying, "Get this man a bunk." That was it. So we're like assuming, okay, the dad kicked him out just because we saw the dad look at an empty room. Okay, now they're roommates. So now he's training all the time. I guess he's going to school.
And again, maybe a week. Like, I mean, like this is a lot of trust and a lot of like comfort to someone you really don't know.
I know.
I just thought
something.
It just
something
seemed
about
it just
him, I
seemed
guess.
weird. Like the relationship in this movie, like Han treated him like they were best friends. Like the way, like it's just weird. It was. I mean, Han basically turned his back against his entire gang to hang out with this one kid from America.
I know.
It just didn't make sense. And listen, although the loyalty seems to be a problem in this movie because all of DK's people that were cheering DK every single time he raced and the whole time basically cheered Sean as soon as he won.
It's like a vampire. Once the head vampire's dead,
They don't care.
they can leave. They're free. They're free agents. We follow you now.
Ridiculous.
That's what it is. But then we get from there. This is when we talked about it earlier when he's flirting with the girl and he's Bama Boy, and then they go on their date. Did you notice that some of the things when they're eating on their date? Because that's like those other, like a lot of European and Asian countries, they have like vending machines. They have the funkiest stuff, especially in Japan and China. One of the vending machines says 100% fresh lobster, and it was like a soda machine. It had the buttons like a soda machine.
No, I did not notice that, but I'm not surprised. I mean, like I know they eat like squid live. Did you know that?
Yeah, that's
There,
cool.
there was the movie. I don't know if you saw it. I forget Old Boy. You ever see Old Boy?
Oh yeah.
So
I've seen both of them.
okay,
yeah.
so did I. So there's a scene where the woman is eating an octopus, in I guess at the sushi place. Well, what's his face does it in the second movie. What's his name? Who starred in the second movie from the Goonies?
Josh Brolin.
Yeah, he actually did it. I think
Brolin.
in real life, like he did it too, just to be because it's
Wow.
yeah, they eat it alive. So I mean that's
Ugh.
Pretty hardcore.
Couldn't imagine that. But then from there they have their fresh lobster from the vending machine. Then they go on a drifting date,
So
and it's like
is
really
she,
romantic. How about all the cars drifting?
Oh, it's so corny. I mean, the fact that they're doing that, but like, is she still with the other guy, DK, at this point?
Oh yeah, she is.
So what is
I
she
think
doing?
she's really not with him. I think he has this stronghold on her because I think she's poor. I think that was her whole thing because he says people like you need people like me. Like when he's giving that speech to her, when he has the gun and he takes her,
Or does she like
when the dad
power
shows
and
up.
she just goes to whoever it seems to be? But the fact that again she knows what could happen to this kid if she's hanging around him, and she doesn't care.
She don't care.
She doesn't care.
Just like Sean didn't care for the opposite of what DK to do to her if they got caught.
That is
So
true.
they both are sort of in the wrong.
Okay.
But then they have their romantic drifting date, and then the next day at practice, I guess DK finds out, and DK comes up and sucker punts and kind of beats the shit out of him.
He
He
does.
says, "Stay away from her."
I was expecting a little bit more karate. They look like a karate
I
gang.
was getting more fighting from Sean. Like I
Well,
wanted
I mean,
more something.
I also expected his cronies to get involved.
Yeah.
Because I know the blonde, he knows martial arts because he's on a show called, I think it's called Warrior or something. I've watched him and I've seen him, so he can fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I recognize him.
I just can't believe Sean he just can't find any other girl. Like if you remember earlier in the movie when the two cowboy girls that were starting the first race, I'm like, well, those are attractive. No, he's fine. I'm just gonna go with this one girl.
He likes to go for the ones he can't get, although he always gets them. Because technically,
But how crazy is that? So DK wants to be with her, right? He wants this girl so bad that he's gonna punch. The next scene when she finds out that Sean gets beat up and she goes through the arcade to the leather chair that he's sitting in, and I don't know what time it is, but he has a glass of champagne and two girls sitting on his lap, and he's like, "Wow, you know what? This is what's gonna keep her." Like, you don't want to be with her. You want these other girls. Like, what?
and so clearly DK is not a high school student. So how old is he that he's having a rival with a 17-year-old?
Great question. I don't know.
I mean,
that's a really great. Yeah.
it's, like it doesn't make sense. Like you have a gang, because clearly he's not working. He's got all this money, and he's like a king. He's like he's the second in charge because his uncle's the godfather. So like, you're picking a fight and losing to a 17-year-old. So
when you have these other beautiful girls on your lap. So what do you like about this girl? And then when she leaves, when the two girls, when he kicks out the two girls and it's just him and the girl, and he thinks to get her back, he can just say like, your mom's a whore and you're going to be like her if you're not with me. It's like, oh, that's where.
Well, maybe she likes to talk dirty.
Maybe that's what it was. But then he goes to kiss her and it just looks.
This is where
really
DK starts going off the rails.
Oh, he's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he goes insane.
Yeah. So, I mean, what he starts doing is just out of control.
Yeah. And then from here, this is where at the same time the uncle shows up in the limo. The uncle shows up to talk to DK like in that little room. And I love that he like cleans everything really quick. And he even offers his uncle the chair that he just had the two girls in. And then at the same time, the girl is going to find Sean so they're going to hang out at Han's garage. So all this happened at the same time. And we kind of mentioned this before. The uncle lets him know, like, hey, I know your partner's screwing us and stealing money from us. Are you going to take care of it? And then we get, well, I didn't expect this. I remember Han dying. I remember that was a big thing with the franchise. Even though I saw this movie, not in the movie theater, but when it first came out, I don't remember who died or what it was. I just remember listening to How Did This Get Made? And they were like, yeah, how's Han still alive? Because he died in Tokyo Drift. And I didn't expect like the way it was happening, like his buddy pulling a gun on him, like that first part of it.
Yeah. So, but it also shows you, just to backtrack a little bit, shows you how powerful the uncle is because DK it gets nervous around his uncle. And
Oh,
and the
yeah.
uncle doesn't have really respect for DK either, because he's like, what are you wasting your time with this kind of stuff constantly? And DK like panics all the time. Like I feel he's like that like rich guy who has a company and makes his son like run the business, but is incapable of doing it. Kind of like a Tommy boy.
Kind of like Tommy Callahan. Yeah, exactly. But no, the fact that in the seconds he goes, yeah, well, you have to take care. I will take care of this, and then he goes, and then you get them like friggin' just the whole.
No, he's ready for murder.
Chase scene.
He's ready for
I
murder.
know.
Like he in his mind, he's just gonna kill everybody. He's gonna kill Han and Sean.
Oh yeah, dude. He has a gun right in Han's face,
Yeah.
and Han's still calm for having a gun in his face, or even knowing this guy's pissed. He's like, "Come on, man, you know that." I'm like, whoa, man.
Yeah.
Now you're like sort of admitting it. This is gonna get pretty crazy.
Yeah. No, and listen, I mean,
Get away, Han. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, say Han knocks the gun away,
Yep.
and then they're all able to get away pretty quick.
Very
Like,
quick.
Just by closing the garage doors. Bow Wow sneaks back. He hits a button that's like an emergency release because they slam it right on the car. So one of the cars is ruined.
Yeah, I mean, and this chase goes on for a while. And it's a cool chase. Like I said, the weaving in and out of these cars, I mean, are ridiculous. But not one cop in sight. I know they can't keep up, but they're not around at all. Like, it's. I mean, throughout the whole movie. I mean, even when the car explodes, no one's around.
No one at all.
No.
But do you remember what Han did? Han saved Sean because DK at first, obviously his goal was to kill Han, but then he had that thinking about his girl with Sean. He was getting ready to like kill him because she was in the car too.
That's right.
And when you see Han look at him and pull the e-brake and hit him, and then that's when all hell obviously went downhill for
So
Han
that
pretty quick.
so that right there, what you just said made me think, and I thought about this when I was watching the movie, and this happens all the time in like chases and everything else. All one car has to do is like go to the side and step on the brake. The other car will fly right by, and then you basically turn around and you'll be able to escape. No one steps on the brake ever.
Nobody.
Never.
And I think it'd be really funny in a movie if they did that like a comedic movie, because it'd be great to see the person slamming the brake and the other car going, oh shit. They start turning around, and the other one starts going, and then they just like keep doing it.
Or
like not even like super fast driving.
Or all the cars are all loaded with gas. They're all filled with gas.
Jet fuel. They're holding jet fuel in the trunk.
And is that how cars? I mean, again, I'm not a car guy, but are there switches that can do like a nitro that your car can just like go super?
Yeah, that's real.
That's real. That's crazy. Okay.
You know what? I don't know that for a fact, but if that's not real, it's kind of silly to have that trope.
It's in every movie.
Pretty
Every
much
cool
any
car
type
has
of
that.
racing movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone.
All right.
Even in Tommy Boy, right? Isn't that what he hits in the cop car?
Oh, the cop
that
car
makes
has
him
it?
Start laughing.
Oh, I don't.
The nitrous.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Remember Rude Roads?
That's right.
Rude.
Well, I knew Jackie Chan's car in Cannonball Run has those.
Yeah.
It also goes up in the air.
So I would hope. I know there's a lot of tropes that are just tropes and something that is in the the annals of film history.
Did you say
Something that people
annals
just
of film?
Annals?
Oh, I thought you said annals of film.
Annals? No, where's your? You're thinking about the Japanese hooker and her business that she has,
Right.
but I'm sorry, the dad who's the pimp. But no, so you get Han basically like saving the day, and then the way he dies kind of weak because everything's kind of slowed down, and then he drifts, and then he gets hit by another car, right?
Yep.
He doesn't get hit by any of the other bad guys. It's just like an accident, and he flips a bunch of times, and like you said, you see him like sort of alive.
He still like has a seatbelt on, like, and he's like stuck in that seat. First of all, you're right. It is a lame way because he literally weaved in and out of these cars. Didn't get hit once, but he does a little drift at the end and hits that car and crashes and flips over. Like, it was like a weaker way to do it, but yeah, there's no way he's escaping that. I mean, and even if he did, there's obviously there were some people around watching this happening, seeing the explosion. You're not going to see him crawl out of there if he did escape.
Yeah.
Like, and like, what did he went? He went to hiding right away. Like, he was pretty like he would be hurt and pretty beat up. He's not moving that far. So the fact that they made him still be alive is ridiculous.
No. The fact, I know it makes no sense, and we'll talk another reason why it makes zero sense that they say this movie in the timeline is like later, because there's one big glaring reason why this cannot be, just because of technology advancements. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So then you get the dad. So they go back to the house. Him and the girl. He's like, "I'll explain everything to my dad." Blah blah blah. And for some reason, he doesn't have a key.
Well,
he can't just walk right in, so he's waiting and waiting. And
based
waiting
on
and
his
waiting.
father's house, he probably doesn't even have a lock. I mean, it looks like he lives in a shed, so it's
the door probably doesn't even close, and he could probably just walk right in. I thought it was kind of crazy that dad locks his son out, even though he knows his son isn't coming home because he's bunking at Hans.
Well, maybe he had a prostitute in there.
That is true.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time.
There was a sock on the door. But then DK shows up and he's like, "You're coming with me," and there was like a little bit of a fight. There was just not enough of that. I really wanted one fight, because obviously the newer movies I think spoil me with the trailers,
right?
Because I'm like, there's at least some fighting, but nothing. He pulls the gun on him. He says, "You're coming with me," and then dad somehow. Is he a ninja? Because nobody heard him. DK didn't hear.
Not even heard him. No one saw him. No. And again, this is something you see all the time in movies. Like, someone has a gun on someone, and someone appears, does the Scooby-Doo, and somehow is right there. No one heard them or saw them do it.
Yeah. So then she right away just says, "No, stop. I'll go with him. It's fine, Sean." Sean doesn't want her to go. They leave. And then the first thing that Sean does, I don't know what time it is. I'm guessing it's really late. I don't know why. I'm just guessing it, just based on obviously how dark it is, but just thinking of the events of the movie from when we saw the beginning of this sort of night begin. But he looks at his dad and he goes, "I did this. I can't run away. I have to go fix this." And I'm like, okay, can you fix it in the morning? You're going to do all this now?
But what is he fixing?
Well, he wants to get the girl.
Okay, so what I did this. Did what though? Like, and to fix this is not getting the girl, because he was still trying to get the girl. That's not fixing anything. So, like, the girl going back to DK, everything's back to where it started from.
It was, right? When it started.
So what did he do, and what is he trying to fix?
That's true. All he really did was return the money that Han stole.
Okay.
That was,
okay, guess what? That fixed it. That's all it was. Wait a second. At that time, he didn't have the money. Bow Wow didn't give him the money yet.
No, he didn't. No. He had no idea what he was
doing. That's what I mean.
Do.
So when he told his dad, "I have to fix this," I was like, what is he trying to fix? Because to me, it's more about a revenge thing than anything else. I mean, he's upset about Han. So, I did this. Fine. He got Han killed. I need to fix this. I'm not sure what the fixing is.
Yeah, you're right. Because if Sean did not exist in Tokyo, everything would be like it is right now.
Yeah.
Han would be alive, maybe.
Han would be alive.
Probably not. Han wouldn't be alive.
Well,
no, Han wouldn't be alive.
They're going to find out eventually that he's stealing money. So yeah, Han would be dead anyway. So, which he's not dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. But, but yeah, I mean, so like, and the father is just going to let him go. Like, he's like, "All right, son, let me go." He would be like, "All right, son, listen, I have a military background. Let me go with you." No, go ahead. Go to the gang's hideout with the Godfather by yourself. And, I mean, really, go where the guy was about to kill you. Go ahead. Go by yourself. Go ahead. It's okay.
Yeah. You just had a gun to your head, son. I'm going to go back in and finish off what I was working on in there. And then,
Listen, I got a woman waiting for me in the bedroom. So just go ahead. Go ahead. It's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then when you get back, you can sleep in the bed. I won't change the sheets, any of that. But no, you're right. Like the dad had a gun. He could have been like, "Here, take this."
And
with
he's a
you. I know this
military
is
guy.
crazy,
Like
but-
he like and not for nothing. You don't think the guy, if military, he could call some of his military buddies and say, hey, listen, we got an issue right here. Let's just go with my son, make sure he's okay, and, go together. Why does he have to go alone?
No, you're right. Couldn't make a call. He could have made a call to tip someone
Or
off.
again, just
No.
go with him at least. Like you're like,
Yeah.
it doesn't like, again, I need to fix this. I did this. I need to go alone. None of it makes sense. Okay. And again,
a lot of this
he's
doesn't make
17 years old. So, I mean,
17 years old, he's gonna let his son just go in the middle of the night to a city he doesn't know with no directions.
Wait a second. I just thought of this. So he's 17 years old and he's into street racing. He probably just got his license. Because you get your
that is
permit at
crazy.
16. So how long has he been street racing? Because was he street racing without a license? Like,
Maybe, and then just the way the mom was like, every time he got in trouble, we moved. So every time he got driving,
but he's
speed racing,
17.
oh, we gotta go.
So that means he
Yeah.
literally just got his adult license.
Yeah,
It'd be funny if he still had his permit.
yeah. Oh my god! But yeah, so the first thing he does is he's like, "Let me find Twinkie." He finds him, and he's trying to explain to him because Twinkie's like, "Let's get out of town. I know some people." Blah 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 blah. And then he's like, "No, I got to make sure I take care of this." And he goes, "Han left something. I think you should have it." And
No
then I'm like,
way
"What could this
would
be?"
Twinkie do this. No way. How much money was that?
Well, he is hesitating. He does hesitate. Even Sean goes, "Are you sure you don't need this?" And he's like, "Nah, man, you need it." Because again, I didn't know what was gonna happen. Like, what did you think was gonna happen with the money in this part? Did you really think it was gonna be as simple as here's the money? I thought we were gonna get like a poker game. I don't know why. I thought there was gonna be something that he was doing with this money besides just handing.
Okay, let me ask you this. So the money was hidden in the car, right? Like in the side of the car?
Yeah.
What if the car like got in an accident and like blew up like the other car? Why would you hide your money in there?
Maybe the rest of the cash was in the other car.
But I mean, like, that's the smartest. I'm assuming because of all the cars that are in this movie, a lot of cars get stolen. Also, like, to me, that would be the
that's true.
last place I would want to hide money. Would be in a car that's constantly, being around people that are just stealing cars or cars blowing up.
And drifting, you hit the wrong thing, bumper
Yeah.
falls off, money flies.
Yeah, that's a
everywhere.
bad. I don't know why you would hide it in the car. It's so stupid.
Yeah. But no, the fact that he gets the money, he goes, "This is what I want to do. I'm going to go there and I'm just going to walk right in." That's it. No plan, no real cool plan, or like thought out. He goes, "I'm just going to go there and walk right in."
And no fear.
And you know what?
No fear. He's walking into
fear.
the lion's den by himself. And again, not to say it again, but he's 17 years old.
He's 17. And he goes, "Konnichiwa." Just the way I couldn't even imagine, like, I can't even do a good Southern accent, but I can't do Japanese. But the fact that he was able to blend those two, the way he talks to the uncle is hilarious.
Okay, so obviously in the beginning of the movie, he doesn't know any Japanese, right? So let's just say,
None.
for argument's sakes, this is longer than a week, which I don't think it was a week anyway.
Yeah, there's no way it's a week. Yeah.
So maybe hanging out with the girl, he learns a few words here and there. He has full, detailed conversation with the uncle in Japanese.
Yeah.
Where the heck did he learn that? Ridiculous.
Well, it's funny because, again, in this movie, when it's like something serious, they speak in Japanese. When it's not, he speaks in English, because even before he speaks he says like hi, he like greets him in Japanese. And then he goes, "I know me and your nephew, we're real dumb, real reckless, causing a lot of trouble, and I'm sorry for that." And then he goes into Japanese.
Well, you do see that a lot in movies too. So,
Yeah. Oh no, I know.
but
it's the
okay, so
worst.
here's another thing I thought of when I was watching this. So you have the uncle who's clearly a grown man and the godfather of this, but his crew is a bunch of like 20-year-olds. There's not one adult.
20 years, but then no, in the uncle's crew.
Yeah, I didn't see any adults.
There's the big fat bald Asian
Oh,
guy. Remember, because they tricked us. Remember, there was 2 other Asian guys that got out first, and then we saw the main guy.
Okay, so he has
in
2
the white
guys.
suit
I mean,
and
like
hat.
most of his crew is a bunch of 20-year-olds that race cars.
Yeah,
that race
yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
Okay. How tough? How big of a godfather is this guy really? If his crew is a bunch of 20-year-olds that race cars.
Well, how big is he, and how smart he is that he approves of this silly race?
What's the race for?
It's like a WWF match from the '90s. Loser has to retire. And get out.
Right. So,
brother.
like, why would the uncle agree to this? Like, what is he gaining from this that the loser has to leave town? Because the town's not big enough for both of us.
Or maybe the uncle's like, man, DK sucks. He's really screwing up. I hope this white kid wins.
He goes, listen, I was on the verge of about to kill him, because he's screwing up so much. But you know what? This will save me. Maybe he'll die in a car accident.
Yeah.
It's just like, the motive of this, like the plot of this movie, and then the motive, they end up having a race just so one can leave. So you're telling me Sean wants to stay there? Like, it's been nothing but problems since he got there, and is like basically miserable. He knows 1 person, 2 people in the entire week that he's been there. It's been nothing but chaos and death and everything else. So his goal is to stay there so DK can leave.
I know.
Okay.
What? Yeah. Why would just because a girl? You don't want to live with your dad.
Okay.
You can't stay in Han's place anymore.
And again, he's known this girl for a week. I mean, to put your life on the line now for a race that that no one ever makes it except for DK, you're gonna do that for one girl that you just known for a week?
Yeah, and he still has to sort of practice, and then the police take everything. So there's one. How about the car that's left, and it's all trash, and then they open the hood, and it's a brand new engine. It's like, oh, wow.
And they get
and then you knew what was going to happen next.
Yep. And they got excited about that.
And the dad's car.
How long do you think it took them? So if you had to take reality again, we're not men. Because about cars, but if you took how they did in a movie and you took real life, how long do you think it would take to build a car that is able to race a car that's been racing? I can't imagine.
And while I'm in school, and doing homework,
right. I mean, in movie terms, it looked like it took maybe took them maybe an hour.
I know. Because I feel like they were in the same clothes.
They were in the same clothes.
Didn't change.
Yeah.
We didn't get any calendar flip, anything
Nothing.
like sundown.
They
sunset,
literally put
nothing
together
like that.
a car that runs, that can race in so quick and ridiculous. Yeah. Okay.
So here's ridiculous. My next note. Here it is.
Okay.
So if they're gonna say this is in the latter part of the timeline of the franchise, 2006. Do you remember when they were watching on their cell phones, on their Motorola T720s? That I used to sell that phone when I first did telemarketing when I was like 19. The picture was terrible, but somehow when they show Bow Wow's phone, it is like HD in a little screen.
So I was confused on that. So how'd they get the entire track on there? Like, how are they watching the race?
There was I guess cameras set up that we didn't see that were set up on the track, but everybody was somehow in technology that you can't go to a website. Somehow they were all connected to some sort of website and watching.
And you said a camera? It would have to be multiple cameras because they were constantly drifting
around.
around.
No, there was a lot of cameras.
That's ridiculous.
No, there was a lot of cameras that they kept switching, but the technology wasn't
there.
there.
I know it wasn't there. That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't make sense, what they were watching. Because before the race, he did something where it was almost like he was using a drone that was going on the path of the
yeah.
But there was nothing in the air. They didn't show what was filming it, and then he was able to whatever he saw the race, he was able to put it on his phone. It made no sense. Okay.
I think we talked about it before. Is the racing scenes, stunts were cool, stuff like that's cool, but there's nothing for us to really talk about. We just get a flip. He flips over. He
should have been dead. He should have been dead. Like I said,
yeah.
And again, the how fast that his friends and group left DK after he lost, because his DK could have been dead. He's flipping down there. Sean wins, and they're cheering. Like, literally, the car's like, I mean, they just saw Han die recently, flipping over. This could have happened,
Yeah.
No, they were cheering for Sean, immediately dropped DK.
They're fine with it. And then when the uncle, right away, I
Oh.
was thinking in my head, I'm like, what stops the uncle from killing him? And uncle walks over.
Wait, slow walks over. It was like, it was a
I
slow
know.
walk. What? Yeah, so dumb.
You're free to go. Okay. We're good.
And that's it. That's it. That was, free to go.
And then we get the end
Oh my
of the movie.
gosh.
So that's the end of the first movie.
Okay.
And the end of the movie.
Okay, the end of the movie is a main reason why I don't watch any of these movies. And that has to happen for no reason at all. Like, no reason at all.
Somebody here that wants to race you. I'm done racing for today. First, he looks at his girl and he's like, I'm done racing for the day. Again, he's 17.
Wait.
Probably.
So he's now all of a sudden the kingpin of racing because he won one race?
Well, he's the DK.
So,
I know.
So like,
Yeah,
does he race all the time now? Like, because it made it sound like I'm done racing for today. Because obviously it's another day. So it's like, is that all he does now? He just race? Doesn't go to school anymore and waits for someone to challenge him and he races every time? And now...
And they don't race for money. They don't race for money. So how
what
do
do
they
they race?
make money?
And who is he racing? Like, and now all of a sudden he's so good that he wins all the time.
And they call him the new. He wants to rate. You're the new DK. And then he's like, but he's from America. And he said he knew Han. And he's like, okay, I'll race him. And then I knew this, but just seeing it again because you see him get in his car, and then you see the camera pan, and you see, and I'm like, oh, I knew.
The minute they said, like he knows Han or something like that, I knew it was gonna be him. I mean, I didn't know. I'm just guessing, just because they made it dramatic, and it's like I can't.
How'd you know Han? Oh, I knew him from the States. I won this car from him. And then in my head, I'm like, wait, so like in this universe, Dom hears of Han dying, and he goes, you know what I gotta do, man? I gotta fly my car to Japan and race the guy.
And how would he find that? How would he find out that Han died in a street accident? Like, how would he find out across the country that Han died? And like you said, he had to ship his car with him.
Yeah,
so dumb.
I gotta make sure I bring it so I can drift against.
Oh my gosh, so stupid.
And they sort of make fun of that too. He's like, this kind of race, this isn't like just going straight. And then just the way Vin Diesel, I feel like he probably does everything in one take. And they're like, can we do that again? He's like, I'm good.
But listen, he probably says this is the best you're gonna get. So that's it.
Best you're gonna get.
Oh man,
it's crazy that there's 10 of them and the 10th one's coming out. But yeah, well, we did it. We finally got one under our belt. Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. Jamie,
just don't even ask. To me, I mean, if I think this movie was horrible. I think the acting is bad. I think the whole plot is stupid. There's so many just loopholes in this that there's no. I mean, there's 10 of them. I mean, pick another one. I mean, and
crazy.
If people like this one, I can't imagine how bad the other ones are. Then, So like I saw the first one. The first one is better than this one, I guess. I didn't like the first one either, but no, I feel like there's no. To me, Fast and Furious, if you're a car person, that's probably the main reason why people like the movies. They like looking at cars. They like to see cars go fast. I could care less. So, to me, I don't think this movie's worth it. I would think also people like the Vin Diesel team, of people that are in all the other movies. The fact that this one has nobodies, I think there's really no need to see this one.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was fun to watch because I knew we were going to talk about it. So like the conversation part.
Your idea of fun and my
to.
idea of fun are two different things.
Well, I enjoy watching movies. But no, there was some parts that I enjoy. Would I tell somebody to watch it? No. Okay. But I would be interested. I need to look at some lists of where this ranks against the other 9 films that are already out.
I can't believe that.
I just wonder where that would fall in it. But is the 10th one coming out? So we might have to do one of the later ones. Maybe the ones with The Rock. One of the Rock ones.
Honestly, I'd rather see the one with Jason Statham. If I had to pick one,
Yeah, that's like
okay,
6.
if I
think
had to
he's in
pick
6
one,
and
I mean,
7.
listen, John Cena's in one. I mean, like it's ridiculous that Vin Diesel has to find all the biggest guys to go against. Like, I mean, come on, Vin Diesel is
Well, it's like the Expendables. It's like the Expendables
no,
with
no
actors
way.
that are
At least with the Expendables, like it's different. No way. I like these Expendables.
I'm not knocking the Expendables. I'm just saying he goes out
Yeah, but no,
and it's
yeah, but my
Jason
point
Momoa
is, yeah,
and
but
then-
like Stallone can handle himself with like say a Van Damme. Like, like listen, Stallone's Rambo. Like so
No, I
Vin
know.
Diesel, who's Vin Diesel that he goes against The Rock who could crush him. He goes against John Cena who could crush him, and now he's going against Jason Momoa who could crush him. Like,
Yeah.
like and not for nothing. Like when I watch the trail, and I like Jason, I like how I like him in some movies, but the way he's acting in a trailer, it looks so like over the top villainish. Like he's just being so like
Yeah.
over the top that it's going to be horrendous.
I know it'll make $1 billion by week 3
Oh my
worldwide
gosh,
somehow.
it's unbelievable.
All right, so that was the Fast and the Furious.
And I am
Tokyo
furious.
Drift, and Jamie is furious. And next up is a fun movie. Really like sci-fi ish comedy. Has a lot of actors that like George Takei. Man, and I had a lot of fun watching it. Like the people in the first one were really good, and when I talked to the director Sam Irving, he filmed them back to back. So, man, Sam right now is like the go-to when it comes to like Hallmark and like Lifetime movies. He has one that comes out actually, I think it's next Saturday. So, and when Jamie first connected me with him, he was going to film it and we just couldn't connect right away. But it's Love in Zion National, a national park romance. This guy is doing all these movies, and then before then, he was doing a lot of full moon movies. So Oblivion 2, which is the movie that we're going to be doing, that's full moon. He also directed Elvira's Haunted Hills. And as we're recording this right now, him and Elvira, Cassandra Peterson, are in Romania visiting all the spots that they filmed the original movie in, which I think is so neat. And Sam was great, man. He has a great book out. I'll make sure to put it in the episode notes. Just his love of horror has been forever in his life. So some of the stories he has about some of the greats, man. Vincent Price, the story about him and his relationship with him was like, man, so cool. And just some of the people that he worked with over the years. Lots of fun. Sam, lots of energy. I love talking with Sam. But yeah, so Oblivion 2 is man, gonna be fun. We're gonna make my buddy Nick, who I make him watch all the weirdest movies, and he's so down for it, which is awesome. So that'll be up next. But first, obviously, director Sam Irving next week. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.